Le'Veon Bell reunion tour. The Steelers, the Jets, and by the way, Hines Ward is now an assistant on the Jets. Going to slip by a lot of people. Keep that in mind. Pick it up 3rd and 9 on the Steelers 23. Tim, I got to say, Sam Darnold looked pretty good today. That's a great catch. Sam Darnold looked pretty good today.
He did. That is a great catch. It's also an excellent throw. And Fireman Ed, he's back, right?
He is back. He is back. The Jets' #1 pick. Maybe he never left, as Mike said. Second quarter, Rudolph, Hodges, whoever. Rudolph to Johnson. They tied at 10. Neither one of those guys played particularly well. We go to the fourth. Tim will talk about that in a second. Hodges is back in for an injury. Rudolph had a shoulder injury. 4th and 7. He's going to throw this up to Schuster. Nothing doing. Jets win 16-10. And it is kind of apropos that after a win over the Steelers, one of the all-time great Steelers that now happens to be a member of Gang Green, actually gets the Gatorade bath. So this is devastating for the Steelers. Had the Steelers won out, they would be in the playoffs, but obviously that's no longer an option. And obviously, as always, Mike Tomlin, nothing if not declarative.
Not a lot to say, and appropriately so. It's just the time of year it is. It's put up or shut up time, and we didn't get the job done today. Like we talked about, you take care of the ball, or we got decisions to make, and Duck didn't take care of the ball early, so we made a decision.
We're done worrying about what other people are doing. I think it's time to focus, and it's been this whole season just to focus on us and to figure stuff out and find ways to win football games. And I'm proud of some of the things we've been able to do, but it's not enough. And we got to go back at the film and get those things corrected as quickly as possible and move on.
So you take a look at the Steelers' playoff scenarios. Right now, they're a 7th. Obviously, you know the top 6 maggots are just on the outside looking in, and they're going to need to win and then get some assistance in Week 17. There are numerous options for them to get there, but it's got to be tough, knowing that if they had just won out and then won Week 17, a game in the division against the Ravens team that frankly might not have a ton to play for, they could have been easily the 6th seed. So after what you saw on your screen there, it's now the dreaded win and get help. Lots of fan bases have been there. Our Jeremy Fowler was at the Steelers-Jets game. So you know the deal with Pittsburgh. They entered knowing that if they won out, they'd be in the playoffs. That's not possible. So what's the vibe in the locker room?
Well, Zubin, it's pure dejection. Quarterback Mason Rudolph was writhing in shoulder pain, walking back and forth. Juju Smith-Schuster was sullen at his locker, saying the loss was on him for not making that 4th down play down here. And then he sat at his locker for 20 minutes in his pads while the rest of the team was already dressed. Guys were going in and out of the training room, beat up. And the reality has set in that this team simply can't score points. I asked guard David DeCastro what the offense needs to do in Week 17, and he said, man, it's been a long second half of the season. He had nothing else to say. It's just been that way. But other players tried to speak for him. Check this out.
Early in the game, I mean, I threw 2 picks, and that just can't happen. You can't turn the ball over. I mean, they're a good team. I mean, every time you step in the stadium on a Sunday, you're facing a good team. I mean, this is the NFL, and you know, just got to do a better job.
We've ridden a really good helicopter for a long, long time. Now we all see the significance of that position. So, as I always say before, people that complain about our guy whenever he's in, stop. We realize what it is now. Okay.
And as a result, the defense knows it's all on them. I asked linebacker Bud Dupree, does this defense need to score points for this team to win? And he said that's probably the case, but we want that responsibility on our back. So they expect to get fumbles and a pick 6 somehow next week against Baltimore.
And they probably don't know what to expect with regard to the Ravens, considering they've clinched home field throughout. You wonder who might or might not be out there. We'll find out 7 days from now. That's our Jeremy Fowler. We're heading to Week 17. And let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture at the moment. The Ravens have wrapped up home field. The Pats could end up getting the #2 seed in a first-round bye tonight if things shake their way and they get a little help from the Chicago Bears against the Kansas City Chiefs. Live report on that, by the way, coming up in just a little bit here on SportsCenter. Texans clinched the division yesterday, as you know, and the Bills are going to the playoffs. Just a matter of where they might be locked into that 5 and how dangerous they might be. Tim is back. For the most part, Mason Rudolph's had 4 interception games. I don't think anybody thinks he's the future. Hodges was a little more up in the air because he didn't hurt them as much, and then today happened.
He didn't kill them, right?
Mike Tomlin's words.
He's playing, he's going to kill them. Well,
what he did today.
He did today, and It's just because he's not playing fast enough. I mean, I think that was really the key, and is when you get a pressure, you have to play with some type of sense of urgency. Look what the Jets are doing here. They're bringing a double A gap pressure, 2 inside linebackers coming inside, and then Jamal Adams going to add on. It's a zone pressure. Now, what I want you to watch is Hodges' feet. It's 3rd and 10, and they're bringing pressure. There's a little bit of a hop. Then you remember he's in the shotgun. It's a hop. It's a 3-step drop. Hitch, hitch, hitch. Balls end up picked off. Now, when we look at this from behind, you're going to see why that's a problem. You have to play with just much more anticipation, more timing. Okay, here's the situation. Pouncey, the center, is going to go to the right. He's going to move to the right. So basically what you have is you have these 3, Pouncey and right guard and right tackle, for these 3. So you're all set to your right. Now, to the other side, what you're going to have is, because now you just have 2 offensive linemen over here, you have to set on the edge rusher, okay? And you're sitting there, which means the back, in this case Samuels, is right there. So if this player comes, you don't have anyone to block him. The ball needs to come out now when that happens. And look what happens. Basically, if the ball comes out, if he sees this guy coming and the ball comes out now, it is going to beat the zone dropper that's going to fall back into it. And the tight end's headed, the ball should be on him. Yep. It's a 3rd and 10, and it's a completion if it happens. But because of his footwork, because he was late, the ball ends up being picked off. Similar situation on 3rd and 3. It's man coverage. It's not necessarily the blitz that's going to get him, but they're basically trying to get a wake for a release for Jalen Samuels. They're going to run a guy to the flat, going to run a guy to the post, and then here's Jalen Samuels going to run a corner route. And the reason you're doing that, he's a very good route runner, and you're going to get him on a linebacker. Well, he wins on the route. There's a safety in the middle of the field, but because he's late, this safety who's in the middle of the field to start, he's just able to overrun this thing, miss outside to the sideline to Samuel, and you have a touchdown. But because he's late and because he doesn't throw the right type of ball, it's his next interception. And quite honestly, if I were in Mike Tomlin's situation, I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah, when I saw that play, 2 things came to mind. It was too late and the ball was in the air too long, and it's exactly what you described there. You think it's just a lack of awareness because he's young and hadn't had enough reps to pick certain things up quicker? I
think it's definitely that. And then I think the other aspect of it is he physically is not as talented as some other guys. Okay. And so other guys, when they're late, they can step on the gas and shoot the ball there. Right. He didn't do that.
Well, so we'll see what happens with the Steelers next season in terms of the quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger hopefully back, because clearly he's been a staple there in Pittsburgh. Let's take you to the Giants and Washington. Yeah, everybody wanted to see this game. All right, Saquon Barkley, though, did some special things. That's what he's been doing since he come into the league. Midway through the first, we got a 7-7 game, and there he goes. I mean, if he's untouched by the time he gets, that deep, good luck, right, Tim?
Yes, but like his moves in the open field are pretty filthy.
Right.
We know he's not healthy. And that was pretty good.
67 yards in that run. He finished the game with 279 yards from scrimmage. That's a new Giants record. He had 2 touchdowns. Third quarter, Marcus Golden sacks Dwayne Haskins, and Haskins stays down on the ground. Did not look good. He would be carted off the field with an ankle injury. This game would go to overtime, tied at 35. Daniel Jones to Caden Smith, and there's your ball game. The Giants win it 41-35, taking down Washington. Daniel Jones goes 28 for 42, 352. Yes, 5 touchdown passes for Daniel Jones in that game. By the way, Barkley's 189 rushing yards, a new career high for him. And also not pictured, Adrian Peterson scored another touchdown for Washington. He's now in sole possession of 4th place on the NFL's all-time rushing touchdown list with 111. All right, Colts taking on the Panthers. First quarter, Nyheim Hines back to field the punt. And he gathers it around the 16, takes his time, one move, and he should be gone, and he is gone to the house. Kicker, yeah, no chance. 84 yards, but here's the deal. He had 2 punt returns for a touchdown in this game, and he's like, yo, I'm just out. Colts lead at 21-3 at the half. Third quarter, Jacoby Brissett. Now watch this. Hands it off to Marlon Mack. He's going to get the first down, but there's some issues here at the end of this play. What's going on, Tim?
I have no idea. And then poor Jack Doyle, he wasn't even part of it. He just gets punched in the face.
Hey, man, I'm just on the ground.
Yeah, that means see you later. Yeah.
Vernon Butler.
By the way,
he's gone.
I hope you were light on your Christmas shopping, because he's about to get fined a lot.
He gets ejected clearly, and even had some offensive things to show the crowd as he left. 38-6 the final as the Colts win it. They snap a 4-game losing skid. Give it up for Greer. 27 for 44, 224. Oh, 3 interceptions. Don't give up everything. They still won 38-6. Plenty more NFL coverage coming up a little bit later. Hey, Tim, go rest. We'll see you in a few.
We'll see in a bit. From offensive to truly the best offensively, Joe Burrow and the Tigers have landed less than a week from the playoff. We'll talk to Coach O about the maiden voyage